you're someone who wanted to get into real estate development, this video is for you. In this video, I'll show you how I can help anyone become a real estate developer in 2026. This works even if you have no experience and no money. You need to be willing to do the work and have a desire to become a real estate developer. I'm Joe, and I spent the last 20 years running my development company. I've built subdivisions, light industrial, mid-rise, low-rise, apartment complexes, RV parks, manufactured home parks, and I currently have 11 active projects from an apartment building to a 60-unit plus subdivision. I've also helped dozens upon dozens of people quit their jobs and figure out how they can become a real estate developer. In this video, I want to walk you through the 13-step strategy that I designed so anyone can replicate the process and become a real estate developer. If you live in a house now, or you live in an apartment, or you live in a manufactured home, guess what? It's already been done. You're already living in it. So you're living proof that it does work. Before we begin, I need you to understand what we do. I'm not teaching you how to start off with a 60-unit subdivision or an apartment complex to develop. I'm going to teach you how to start from the beginning so you truly understand how this works and so that you truly make really good money in your first deal. How do we do this? We're already looking at deals that are on the market. These are deals that you can actually go online and find now. And how we look at them determines how we make money with them. If you're a house flipper, you're not going to see it the same way as we look at a deal. The good news is that if you're flipping houses, you only have one shot to make money. If you're flipping houses and selling lots, you have more than one. You have two at least. So here's what we're doing. We're finding deals that are already on the RMLS. And we're just looking at those deals a little bit differently than a house flipper would look at them. If you're a house flipper and your numbers are wrong, you only have one thing to sell to make money with it. But if you're doing the BOGO method, you have two ways. You have the house to sell, and then you have any lots that you've built to sell. So you have a better opportunity making money. I have never lost money doing this. If you want to start with a subdivision, you're almost 100% going to make a mistake, and you're going to have some issues, and you probably lose money. That's why I don't teach that. If you want to wholesale properties, you have to do 1,000 cold calls to get 100 prospects, to get 10 people to talk to you on the phone, and to hopefully get one deal. It's actually a lot of work, wholesaling, and people don't really understand what it takes to be successful at it. Guess what? I was a wholesaler. I'm not one anymore. Do you know why I've always gone back to the BOGO method? With wholesaling, I have to mail or cold call 1,000 prospects to get 100 deals, to be able to talk to 10 people, and hopefully I get one of those deals that sticks. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That's why I've always come back to the BOGO. There was a time in my career when I wanted to be a home builder and new construction. Here's the thing about new construction. It takes too long. I've always made more money faster doing BOGO deals. Why? Because the property is already built. I'm taking something that's already built and just fixing it up. I don't have to start from ground zero and get all those permits and go through all that hassle. And while I'm doing that, I'm dividing off a piece of land. And I make money in both places. If you want to flip houses, I've done that for years. But with all the competition out there and everyone trying to undercut you, it's harder to make money. I'm going to tell you exactly what I do and how I got started. Why am I going to do that? Because it's going to help you and other people figure out if they want to build a business like mine. And I'm going to go through this step by step, how I do it deal by deal. I'm here to explain what I do and how I teach it. And I teach it in a very specific way so that I can help you get started and build a business like mine so that you can become your own real estate developer. I show people how to find a house where they have a little bit of extra land and how to divide it off. That's the first deal we're going to do. And then we're going to build from there. I call this method the BOGO method, the buy one, get one. Why is that? Because we're going to buy a house. We're going to get the house on a separate lot. I've developed a process that's 13 steps that's very simple and easy for people to understand and follow. Step one, find a house in an area that you would actually buy and live in. Start there. Step two is that we're going to get on Zillow or Realtor.com and find a house in that area with extra property. Step three, we're going to check the zoning code and make sure that house with the extra land, we can divide it off. Step four, once we're in the zoning code, we're looking for the minimum lot requirement. That means the minimum number of square feet we have to legally create a lot. So when we go to divide this, we have 2 lots that meet that minimum lot size requirement, usually in square feet. Once we get the minimum square feet, we know we can divide this ground based on square footage. So there's going to be a couple other things in the zoning code that we're going to have to follow, such as street frontage and entrance. And then also we're going to have to make sure that we have utilities. Now, step 6, once we know we meet all the requirements of the zoning code and can do this on paper, we're going to talk to the zoning planning official. And we're going to ask them point blank, this is what I want to do. I want to divide off this lot. Can I do this? And then they're going to show us with the code. We're going to meet with a planning official and we're going to ask them point blank, here's what I want to do. I am going to buy this house. I want to divide off the house and I want to have a separate house on its own lot. Can I do this in this zone with this code? And we're just going to listen to them and we're going to let them show us how we can do this. The great thing about this is that the code will tell you if you can or cannot do it. The second good thing about this is that the planner is there to help us navigate the code so that we can get it right. Step 6 is once we know what we can do with the property, then we can make the correct offer because we know what the numbers have to be. So when we're making the offer, we're building in everything that's going to cost us to divide the land, fix up the house, and our profit. After we've negotiated the deal and gotten it under contract, we're going to double check that everything works the way we think it's going to work so that we don't make a mistake. Once we've double checked everything, it's time to build our packet. In our offer, we have allowed 10 business days as a feasibility study. And so when we're building our packet, we're building a packet for our investor and we're building a packet for our hard money lender. We're going to include all the steps necessary to divide off a lot from this big piece of property. And we're going to include how we're going to do it, meaning we're going to reference the zoning code and include the zoning code. We're going to include the application. We're going to include every detail to get this divided. If we've talked to the planner, we're also going to include our notes from that to say, here's what the planner said, here's why they said it, and here's why it works. So we're going to include everything. Then in this packet, we're also going to include what we're going to do to the house, how much money we're going to spend to fix it up, how long it's going to take to fix it up. We're also going to include our surveyor packet, meaning we've talked to 3 surveyors, we've gotten bids, so we know how much that's going to cost. We've built this packet, it's highly detailed. The whole idea of the packet is so that when we talk to an equity investor, we know what we're talking about, we truly understand the deal, and our numbers and assumptions are realistic. Why? Because they believe people who are realistic and who have done their homework and who are extremely detailed. It makes us look like true professionals. So now that we've built the packet, talked to our equity investor, and we've talked to our hard money lender, and we've interviewed him, and we've made sure that we want to do business with them, now we need to look at our exit strategies. I have 3 exit strategies that I always use. One is I can use my money, I can use my wife's money, I can use my aunt's money. I can ask them to go into a deal with me. And that's number 1. Number 2 is that I can take my packet and I can go find an equity investor and a hard money lender. The equity investor is going to come up with the down payment and the money for the payments while we have a loan on this. The hard money lender is going to be the lender. So they're the bank. The reason why they're called a hard money lender is because they lend at a higher interest rate, but they're easier to get through, meaning they understand what you're doing. They've been through this process before, and they're willing to make loans based on this because that's how they operate. Step 1 is we use our own money or someone closest to us money. Step 2 is that we go and find an equity investor and a hard money lender. There's more money out there than there are deals for these people. Step 3 is we take that package and wholesale the deal, meaning we sell it to another investor. We're not going to make as much money when we do that, but it puts money in our pocket right away. So here's the example. So when I wholesale a deal, I'm going to take a little bit off of the profit so that I make some money. If there was $100,000 profit in this deal, I would probably try to make $20,000 on it. This is a fast deal. So they're going to close on this in 7 to 10 days. You're going to make $20,000, $15,000, or $25,000 in 7 to 10 days. So it's not a bad thing to wholesale it, but you got to have your packet ready for these wholesalers because they're true investors and really good at what they do. Your packet better be detailed, and then you send it out to these guys. I usually send out a packet to 3 or 4, and then I'll definitely get 1. If I need to make money quick and I have 0 money, I'm going to wholesale this deal. So I'm going to take my packet that I've meticulously built that's very detailed and the assumptions are right on, and I'm going to put this out to 5 wholesalers. and I'm going to try to make $20,000 as an assignment fee on this wholesale deal. And that's how I make money super quick. Now, in the trainings, I go into this much deeper, but for now, just know that there's another option if you don't have cash in hand and you're uncomfortable finding an investor. So here's how wholesaling works. If I was going to wholesale this deal, let's say I had a strike price or a purchase price of $100,000. I'm going to turn around and tell them that the cost to buy this house is $110,000. I'm going to take that extra $10,000. That's my wholesale assignment fee. And then I'm going to move on to the next deal. What this does is it puts cash in my pocket in 7 to 10 business days, which is really fast. If you don't have any cash or you need cash immediately, wholesaling is a great option. Now that I know what my exit strategies are and I've chosen one, I'm going to move on. We're going to actually get the deal. If we haven't wholesaled it, we're either buying it or we've got our equity investor and our hard money lender, and we're going to go in and execute. So what happens next is we actually go in to divide the land. We meet with our surveyor, put together the package for the planner, then we turn the package into the planner. Now we're going to execute the deal, meaning we're going to buy it. We're going to buy it with our investor and hard money, pay cash, or get our great aunt to come in, however you work that out. This is much different than flipping houses or wholesaling houses. We've executed, we now own the property, we're going to divide off the land. We're going to separate the house from the extra land. So we're going to end up with a lot and a house that we've remodeled and we're going to sell. The great news is that we can make money on the house and the lot, or we can break even on the house and make money on the lot, or we can lose a little on the house and make money on the lot. Either way, you have 3 ways to make money in this deal versus just flipping or just wholesaling. So it's a much safer way to do this. Now, here's the things that I want you to notice, okay? I want you to notice you didn't have to do any cold calling. I didn't ask you to mail 1,000 people or call 1,000 people so that you could get 100 people, so that you could get 10 viable deals, to babysit all 10, and hopefully get one. We didn't ask you to wholesale. You didn't have to do any real construction if you wholesaled the deal. I'm not asking you to go out there and swing a hammer. If you're going to buy the deal and fix it up yourself, I want you to hire a professional. I want you to hire that person. We're going to take care of them in the numbers. We're going to make sure that those numbers are in. So you didn't have to contact 1,000 people, bug them, cold call, do any of that stuff. I'm not asking you to go out there and swing hammers unless you want to, or have your own crew that you can send. I'm not asking you to go ask them for a massive, steep discount, because if you're just buying the house the way the house is, a lot of times you have to do that to get the deal, to make it work. I'm not asking you to do any of those things. We're not asking you to work harder. All we're asking you to do is to work smarter. We're just asking you to look at this deal a little bit different so that you can make more money and that it's easier than any of those other methods. So here's the wonderful thing about being a developer, is that you make money when you divide off the ground. You don't have to be a builder. You don't have to build a house. You don't have to be an expert salesman. You don't have to sell a lot of things or sell people or get people to do what you need them to do. All you have to do is make sure you divide the land correctly so that you can sell the house and the land and collect your profit. If you can wash a car, you can do this. Why do I say if you can wash a car, you can do this? Because 1 is you have to decide if your car is dirty. 2, you have to decide what kind of soap you're going to use. And 3, you're going to start at the top and you're going to work your way down. You already know how to follow a system. You already know how to follow a set of guidelines. If you can wash your car and you're willing to do the work because you're washing your car, it requires work. This requires work as well. You can become a real estate developer. All right. So here's where we're at. We've bought the deal. We fixed the deal. We divided the ground. And this is where I see a lot of people slow down. And this is where I speed up. We sell the property. And when we sell the property, we got to make sure that this property is done and ready to sell. So what does that mean? It means our house is 100% done, staged, and beautiful. There's no garbage in the garage, no shovels next to the back door. The house is spotless and amazing. The second thing we need to do is we need to make sure our lot or the property we're selling is ready to go, meaning we have a little packet for the buyer and it's ready to go. What I mean is that once they buy that ground from us, they can go in and get building permits, because I've seen so many people not have it ready for the builder. And if you make lots ready for the builder, they're going to buy your lot before they're going to buy someone else's lot because their lot's not ready. Those are the 2 things. We're going to sell the property and we're going to get paid. The BOGO method works. And here's why it works really well now and there's not a lot of competition in it. Other investors don't really realize what a lot is worth, meaning a lot to build a house. Okay. A lot of people just look at the house value, but when you take into consideration the extra lot that is sitting there that we can divide off, that's actually more profit than most flippers make on a flip house. A lot of people don't realize that. So now you are aware of it. You can do something with it. Here's an example. I was talking to my 16-year-old son. He made an offer, and this is a BOGO deal. There's one house. He's going to get 3 lots total out of it, plus he's going to get to keep the house. He thinks he's going to make about $80,000. How long did it take him to find this deal? It took him about an hour and a half to find the deal and to put it together. I know he's my son. He's seen me do this time and time again, so he knows that it works. So he believes me. I don't have to tell him that. And he wants to make money. My son has seen me do this. But guess what? He's 16. If he's 16, you can do the same thing. The one thing that I teach is that you want to make sure it's in a market that you would buy the property in and that you would live in. Because if you do, that means that you like the property and you'll do the right things that are needed to be done to sell the property and to sell the lot. So here's another BOGO deal that we did. This house was really bad, but we bought the house and the property for $130,000. I spent $96,000 rehabbing this house. I don't know how we got a deal rehabbing it because this house was bad. We sold the house and then we sold the lot in back, which was about 1.5 acres. It had great views, pasture, and trees. It was amazing. The surrounding was amazing for this house. So the total sale was about $555,000, and the gross profit on this deal was $329,000. Now, I want to point out that if we didn't buy the house with extra ground, we still would have made really good money on just flipping the house. But we made amazing money because we had the extra lot, which is about $150,000 we made on that. Here's another BOGO deal we did. We purchased the house and the ground for $187,500, somewhere around there. And what we did was we didn't really fix up the house. There were some minor things that we had to do, but we really didn't fix up the house. We divided off the house and we divided the rest of the land into 2 extra lots. And we sold the house for $269,000. So we sold the lots for about $370,000. And so total, we sold everything for $639,000. We had a gross profit of about $450,000 on that deal. This other deal, we did this deal in the country, and I got to tell you, I really like country deals because you can really make good margins on them, and they're fun to do. But we bought this big piece of ground that had an old farmhouse on it, and we remodeled the old farmhouse. We spent about $70,000 remodeling the house. We paid $635,000 for all of it. We divided it into 5 lots. One had the house on it and 4 separate ground lots. We sold lot 1 for $270,000. We sold lot 2 for $251,000. We sold lot 3 for $250,000. And we sold lot 4 for $254,000. We paid $635,000 for this deal, plus rehab of the house, fix up, holding costs, all the soft costs. And we sold it all for $1.66 million. So gross profit was roughly $1 million. That's why I like deals in the country. Here's the other great thing about that house too, is that if you just gone in and remodeled the house and forgot about the extra land or didn't try to split off the land or build the subdivision like we did, you wouldn't have made anything close to that. So that's where the advantage of the BOGO deal is. I remember this deal. I didn't have to beat them up on the price. They listed the house at this price. I went in and I said, I'll pay you full price. Here's what I need from you to help me out. And basically what I needed was a little time to make sure I could get the subdivision that I wanted to build in there, and they went along with it. They were very happy that they got full price. Obviously, I can send you a PDF with 20 deals on it, and I can show you how we've done this over and over again. But if you want help in 2026 and you want to become a real estate developer and you want to make a change and you want to make some real money, put it in your pocket. If you like what you've heard so far and you want to take action, click the link below. It's going to take you to a video where it's going to tell you step by step how we do this, and then you can book a call with us and we can help you get something done in the next couple months.